Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome into the Early Edge NFL Prop Show Week 7 edition. I'm Claudia Bellofatto here in the Florida studios. Coming off a hot divisional battle last night in Thursday Night Football, we're going to look to the rest of the Week 7 slate. And with me in studio is Uncle Dave Richards. We've got Sia Nejad, Alex PropStarz Sales Nick joining us as well. I know we have a lot of props to get to, but can we just quickly touch on what happened last night? Okay, Steelers, Bengals, the 5.5-point dog. I actually said yesterday on a few of our shows that the one thing the Steelers weren't doing well was defending the number one wide receiver. And what did Jamar Chase do? Sia, he absolutely went off. What did you make of last night?
I mean, it's such a classic division battle. We think Pittsburgh is the superior team, and we think that it's a 5.5-point spread. We think, at least a lot of the public thinks they're going to cover by a touchdown or more. But I will say credit to a lot of people at SportsLine who were on the Bengals. I thought it was crazy how much they were chucking it around, though. And we were talking about on the Early Edge this morning, the fact that you could have just bet Jamar Chase and laddered it up, and it almost made it seem like betting is too easy. Like, yeah, of course, take the best receiver and just like take 16 catches and however many yards and an anytime touchdown. Like, this is so easy. Like, let's make a lot of money.
Dave, 16 catches on 23 targets for 161 yards for Jamar Chase last night.
Well, you were expecting like 18 catches? Come on, man. It's a lot already. But listen, he's great. And when Joe Flacco went to Cincinnati, we talked about it on our Fantasy Football Today podcast. I said it was a small upgrade over Jake Browning. What we saw last night was a massive upgrade over Jake Browning. And I'm so happy that the Bengals did it. Number one, I like watching Flacco win because it's just a fun story. He's just been around so many different teams, kicked to the curb a couple times, and now he's getting another chance at redemption. And number two, selfishly, I've got T. Higgins and Jamar Chase on a bunch of my fantasy teams, and they need a quarterback that can get them targets. I want to see the Cincinnati offensive line play a little bit better. I don't know if that run game's ever going to get going. I'm sorry for people that have Chase Brown, but this was really good. And I think we're going to continue to see Flacco to Chase, Flacco to T. Higgins, Flacco to Noah Fant. I don't know about that one. But the two receivers, I think that we'll see that continue until Joe Burrow's back. And then hopefully Joe Burrow can pick it up. How about that for a statement? Can Joe Burrow pick it up and be as good as Joe Flacco was last night?
Well, Chase Brown, a guy that was averaging just 2.7 yards a carry, cracked 100 for the first time. So big night for him as well. Proppy, we're going to get to our further quarterback props. Any thoughts on last night, though?
Yeah, it was impressive to watch. The quarterbacks with a combined age even older than Uncle Dave just swing it all around the park. It was very awesome. I enjoyed Joe Flacco. I talked about how I believe Joe Flacco is a Hall of Fame quarterback, considering his postseason success, the longevity, and it's awesome to see him still playing at the level he is at this age. Jamar Chase, 23 targets, absolutely incredible. T. Higgins also showed up. Aaron Rodgers was slinging things as well. We saw Jalen Warren in the Pittsburgh backfield really dominate touches and made a big impact. Had a touchdown run called back as well. He had a tremendous night. So it was just an offensive explosion between two division rivals who typically play low-scoring, low-volume passing affairs. So it was great to see on a Thursday night. I really enjoyed it.
Uncle Dave catching strays here, too, when it comes to the ages. But you said it, Flacco had a big game, threw for over 343 touchdowns. We're going to get to some other quarterback props you guys should look out for Week 7. Before we do that, though, let's take a look at what happened last week. I'm just going to say that. What happened last week? Because I know personally I had a great prior week, and as we call it, it's ebb and flows, and that's fine. I went 1-3 is what it is, but I was just happy to have friends with me. Sia, Dave, both with one win, and then there's just Proppy on his little island all by himself. I guess that's where he got his name. Proppy, how you feeling?
Feeling good. I live for this, guys, so I'm not going to get too high or too low, depending on wins or losses. There's lots of ebbs and flows as the season goes along, but always happy to have a nice week, and I'm looking to repeat my results from last week this week.
So last week, or 2 weeks ago, I guess, Claudia was the one who went undefeated. Last week, it was Proppy who went undefeated. One of us is going to go undefeated this week, Sia. It's probably going to be you because I'm on the cold spell of my life. There was somebody that posted in the chat underneath our show, in the comment section, underneath the show, fading Uncle Dave is the easiest thing in the world. And if that's what you've got to do to make money, do it. Do it. This show is here to help you make decisions on your picks. No, I'm totally okay with it, Claudio. If you go against me, it's totally fine as long as you're winning. We want you to be happy.
No.
That's it. Just be happy. And if fading me is the way to do it, then by all means do it. But I'm trying to win here every week.
I will not take that Uncle Dave slander. Let's turn this around right now. We've got Texans catching 3 at the Seahawks, and you are looking at C.J. Stroud with confidence. Tell me why he's cashing his pass.
I'll go quick because I've got to get to the early bird dinner, and then it's bingo night down with everybody at the senior citizens home. I like the over on 31.5 pass attempts at -114. Seattle's allowing just 3.1 yards per carry to running backs this year. It's not a favorable matchup for the running backs in Houston. They're coming off the bye, and it's Nick Chubb, it's Woody Marks. I actually think we're going to see more of Woody Marks and less of Nick Chubb. We will talk about that later on. But it means that Houston will have to throw a lot. And that's something they haven't had to do much in their prior 2 games when they were in easy matchups against inferior defenses. They didn't need to do it. They were able to run the ball effectively. It was good. And this number is curiously high. Stroud's been over it just once all year. But every quarterback to take on Seattle this year has thrown the football at least 33 times. I know Seattle's secondary is healthy. That just means that the efficiency is going to come down for C.J. Stroud. I think he's going to have to throw in this game. Doesn't mean he's going to throw for 300 yards or 3 touchdowns. I don't like him in fantasy, but I think he throws the ball 32, 33, maybe even 35 times in this game. C.J. Stroud over 31.5 pass attempts, -114.
Proppy?
I like this look quite a bit. First and foremost, Seattle as an opponent, they're shaping up to be a massive pass funnel for a variety of reasons. They have a very strong run defense. We've yet to see Houston really run the ball effectively as well. So I think we're considering the matchup, the opponent, the path of least resistance is going to be through the air. That's how teams are choosing to attack. I also love that Dave took a volume-based approach here where we're not banking on efficiency because we're talking about C.J. Stroud after all. So yeah, love this look from Dave.
Yeah, C.J. Stroud, Cam Ward, Spencer Rattler. I always go attempts, maybe not completions, but high volume of attempts. Sia, talk to me about my quarterback over there in New England, Drake May, Pats laying 7 on the road against the Titans. What do you see from him this weekend?
I'll tell you what, I'll be quick on this one. And I know in the overtime segment, I might have something to say about this running back core, but I'm trying to find a way to back Drake May. And I'm going to take it in a way that I think that offers a little bit more variance than I normally like. Here's the thing. I'm taking him over 1.5 touchdown passes in Tennessee. I would have at least looked at his yardage or his, let's say, completions. But there is some wind issues here and there's some game script issues here as well. What I know about this Patriots offense is they absolutely cannot run the ball. It was actually kind of pathetic to watch them in the second half take the air out of the ball and try to run Ramondre Stevenson and Trevion Henderson. This is not a rushing attack by any means, even against the Tennessee Titans, who allow a ton through the ground, but they also allow a ton through the air. So I think when they get to the green zone, when they get to the red zone, it'll still be on Drake May to pass some touchdowns, and we know he can hit some deep shots. He's been incredible from a completion percentage standpoint when it comes to explosive plays and plays 10-plus down the field. So I like Drake May over 1.5 touchdown passes at -114.
And I do have a Justin Herbert play. I'm going to push that for our overtime segment, though, because, Proppy, I want to get your thoughts on Drake May. I was looking at him possibly for completions, possibly for attempts, but the game script worried me. Do you think the Titans can keep this close, or is this 7 number probably right for the Patriots?
I think the number's right here. However, with Drake May, I backed him in consecutive weeks. We've all been very high on Drake May this season of the 4 of us. This is another fantastic matchup for Drake May. If he has a clean pocket, he has time. The offensive line woes have plagued him because of the offensive line in New England has just had dismal play since he's basically joined the team. We're seeing improvement there, but we're also facing an opponent who just offers very little pass rush outside of Jeffrey Simmons. They have nothing. So this is a matchup he's going to be hyper efficient in. I like the look with the touchdowns that Sia is going here. I'd also consider an efficiency look like completions, but considering this could be a matchup, we could see them run the ball effectively. I ultimately think Drake May is going to have another fantastic game, so I like the over 1.5 touchdowns as far as all of his props are concerned.
Yeah, I love that we've come together on this. We're the Drake May Party Committee, and I am the leader of that party. Don't go anywhere. We just ripped through the passing props, so we have rushing props coming up, some big running back weekends possibly ahead of us. Don't go anywhere. We're right back here on the Early Edge. Hey friends, welcome back to the Early Edge here with Sia, Uncle Dave, Alex, PropStarz, Sales Nick, running through rushing props, our favorite rushing props for the week. Dave, I'm going to come to you first. You're looking at this Cleveland-Miami game, Cleveland laying 2.5 here, and you're looking at Quinshon Judkins over on rush yards. He had that massive game in London, fell off a little bit last week. Are we taking advantage of maybe a market move there?
Claudia, everybody is looking at this line because of who the running back is and who the running back is playing against, and this number has gone berserk over the last 48 hours. I got it in at SportsLine at over 85.5. It is now at 90.5 at BetMGM, and I've seen it as high as 95.5, and I am completely fine taking it up to 95.5. I might even be okay taking it at 99.5. The matchup is that good. 4 straight lead running backs against Miami have averaged at least 5.7 yards per rush. Kamani Vidal, who nobody had even heard of before last week, had over 130 yards on the ground against the Dolphins. That's a new low even for them. This is a winnable game for Cleveland, and they did something interesting last week. They didn't give Quinshon Judkins his normal workload, so maybe a little bit less wear and tear on his body going into this matchup. And the weather could be a factor as well. It might make it a little bit more conducive for Cleveland to choose to run the football. I think they're desperate for a win. I think they can get one against a beleaguered Dolphins defense that's been in bad shape. I think Quinshon Judkins can run for at least 120 yards in this game. This is an over. Quinshon Judkins, I've got it anywhere from 90.5 to 95.5.
All right, we love a possible ladder play. Now, the only possible direction we can go here now is to you, Sia, because he just mentioned the player you're looking at in Kamani Vidal. Chargers second-year running back who's coming off a 124-yard game, but like Uncle Dave said, not a lot of people had heard of his name until then. You're looking at him this week.
Yeah, and I'm not the biggest Kamani Vidal truther, even after the Miami game. But again, it was a dream matchup. I'm not chasing this prop. And by the way, it's over 53.5 rushing yards. I'm not chasing this prop looking for 18 carries for 124 yards and 6.9 yards per carry, because that's the Miami defense. It's a completely different conversation. But this Colts defense that LA is hosting, it's not exactly super imposing against the rush. They're about middle of the pack from a yards per carry standpoint, towards the bottom of the pack when it comes to success rate, and also towards the bottom of the pack when it comes to yards before contact. I actually think that's really important, especially when you pair that against something I read courtesy of Jacob Gibbs over on Twitter. And of course, he works with us over at CBS Sports. Yards after contact last week, outside of Jonathan Taylor, Kamani Vidal led the league in week 6. Again, small sample size, and it is the Miami defense, but he's certainly breaking tackles. The yards before contact metrics look good. And probably the biggest piece of evidence for Kamani Vidal to get over 53.5 rushing yards is that his rush attempt prop is 13.5. So we're not thinking this is going to be a split with Hassan Haskins. We're thinking in sports books and the people who are setting these lines think that he's going to get double-digit carries, and I think that's all it's going to take. So give me Kamani Vidal's over here.
All right, I like it. So possible another big week for this name we haven't heard of. Let's go to this Rams and Jags game. Rams laying 3. And Proppy, on the website, SportsLine, by the way, if you haven't gone to the website yet, do that. We're locking all of these lines in as early as possible. You want to get ahead of the market moves. You had Travis Etienne on attempts, but that has shifted. So now we're looking at yards.
Indeed, Claudia. Yeah, I'm pivoting, going under 60.5 rushing yards for ETN, who, in my opinion, is one of the most significant negative regression candidates in the NFL. He has an extremely boom or bust running style. He ranks top 3 in breakaway yards. That's all well and good, but he's a 31st in success rate. That tells me that he's getting a lot of big runs, but those are not sustainable. And when he's not breaking off those big runs, he has not been very effective. So I think this is a tough spot as well against a Rams defense, 4th in run stop win rate, top 10 in EPA allowed per rush, also in success rate against the rush. So a difficult matchup. And I also look at the fact that Baishal Tutin is starting to eat into his snap share a little bit as well. We know ETN is not Liam Cohen draft pick here. So I just think this style, he's been ineffective for multiple weeks now. He's a super inconsistent runner. This number is still high because he got off to that really big start, but has really done very little since then. So I think fading him in a variety of ways makes sense.
Speaking of market moves, J.K. Dobbins is a guy that I was looking at him yesterday at 57.5 rush yards. It's high as 62.5 now. There is a 58.5 out there if you can get it. Broncos are laying 7 against the Giants here. I think the Giants may be able to keep this game closer. Game script obviously works here, but the line is right for him. It's right for the game script. It's right for his explosiveness, and it's right for the matchup. The only week he didn't cash this was against the Jets. The Jets were able to contain him, but they're one of the better run defenses. The Giants are the second worst when it comes to rush DVOA on defense. They're allowing the 4th highest explosive rate. And in case you didn't know, because I didn't know this until I looked it up, he is one of the most explosive running backs in the league right now. He's the second most explosive back behind Jonathan Taylor. You throw in the game script here. If it does go according to plan, I think they're going to give him the ball at a very high rate. He's also top 10 in rush yards over expected. Again, you can get this as high as 62.5 if you want to fade me. Go under the higher number, but I'm going over this line at 58 in the hook. Uncle Dave, thoughts on J.K. Dobbins?
I don't love it. I think it's an interesting lean, I should say. The one thing that I'm curious about when it comes to the Broncos, this is a matchup. I think you're right. I think the Giants are going to be able to keep it close. They're really a better defense than their numbers suggest. And Dobbins hasn't dominated playing time like he really should be doing. I know that R.J. Harvey is in the mix there, and they've been using a third running back as well. It makes me wonder if this is a game where he could end up scoring and getting around like 55 yards, something like that. This is one I would just stay away from. I don't want to do a showdown, Claudia. I don't want to test my luck in that regard. But I do wonder if this is a get-right game for the Broncos across the board on offense and not just for their running game. And if they do it for their running game, it could be more than just J.K. Dobbins getting pieces of the pie.
Sia, any quick thoughts on this game overall? Do you see this game going according to plan with this line at 7?
I think Denver's going to be playing from the lead. They have a lot to correct from offensive mistakes, and it was kind of pathetic what they did against the Jets last week. So I think they're going to be a lot more efficient. I like your play. Anything short of 60, I think J.K. Dobbins just through volume is going to get it because R.J. Harvey clearly taking a back seat. But I don't think this game's going to get out of hand. Either way, I think J.K. Dobbins gets his carries.
Uncle Dave, I want to come to you quickly. Saquon Barkley or Nick Chubb, and then whatever one we don't get to, we'll talk to.
Let's save Nick Chubb for later because Saquon's more fun. I'm taking the over on Saquon Barkley, 72.5 rush yards at -115. For the record, Barkley's been over this one time this year, but it's been strange how the Eagles have used him over the last couple of weeks. 18 carries combined in the last 2 games. That is not the Philadelphia way. The Philadelphia way, as Proppy would know, is running behind the big offensive line that they have, which, by the way, is expected to be at full strength against a Vikings run defense. Listen to this, 4.4 yards per carry on the season, 4.6 in their past 4 games, and that number would be out of control if they hadn't have played Cincinnati in one of those games. And we saw Kenneth Gainwell, that's Saquon's backup from last year, have a monster game against them overseas. I think this is a spot for the Eagles to get right with their run game, and Saquon leads the way. He could have triple digits. Saquon Barkley over 72.5 rushing yards.
Proppy, it looks like you're agreeing from the head motions, yes?
Minnesota is a massive run funnel. They have a tremendous pass defense. They rank first in EPA, allowed per drop back. They rank top 5 in nearly every defensive passing metric, but their run defense has been porous. This sets up for Saquon Barkley to run wild. I think he has a great chance to eclipse triple digits here. I think the Eagles get back to running the football effectively, and you can't ask for a better opponent than Minnesota's run defense right now. I love this play from Dave.
I think what he's saying is go into the garage and get out the ladder and climb the ladder.
We climb
the ladder for Saquon.
All right, I love it. Don't go anywhere. We ran through the rushing props. We have receivers coming up next. Wide receivers, tight ends. Can anybody show up Jamar Chase after having the most catches a game in Bengals history? We'll see about that. Don't go anywhere. We're back here on the Early Edge. Welcome back to the Early Edge. Thanks for hanging out with us here. What do we have here, Proppy? I was about to introduce us, but the graphics doing it for us. How did we get this?
I don't know, but we do have secret powers, and you're seeing them on full display right now. We each have our own personal avatars, and when things are going well, we can transform into them. So I think it's some additional, secret powers that we're breaking out ahead of this week.
Did your friend make this though, or your friend made this? Okay, well, thank you, Proppy's
My friend did make this, and we got to tip the hat to him.
Yeah,
He made you Wolverine.
Uncle Davis is kind of scaring me.
I'm Fred Flintstone. Yeah, I don't.
Pays off to have friends.
Sia is scaring me. I don't know what's going on with Sia.
AI is so scary. It's like you see a jump into, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm scared. But thank you, Proppy's friend. This was fun and entertaining. And Sia just looks like a Prince Charming, which kind of checks out. Okay, let's
go.
Sia's always very polished, put together. Let's talk wide receivers, tight ends. Proppy, you have a lot here. Let's start with Chris Olave, though. 57.5 receiving yards. The Saints catching 4.5 here against Chicago.
Indeed, Claudia. Yeah, I talked about Travis Etienne's sort of significant regression candidate. Chris Olave is a significant positive regression candidate. He is getting a massive target share. He is the clear focal point of this New Orleans Saints passing offense, which I might add has actually been okay. Spencer Rattler is playing a little bit around league average. He has not been nearly as bad, I think, as a lot of pundits thought heading into the season. When given a clean pocket, he's even been above average, and that bodes well for him in this matchup facing Chicago, who has an absolutely anemic pass rush. They rank dead last in quick pressure rate. So this bodes very well for Spencer Rattler and his primary target, Chris Olave, who's getting double-digit targets in every game. He's just yet to cash in on them. He's run very cold as far as a lot of his advanced metrics are concerned. So he is a positive regression candidate. This is an excellent matchup for both him and Spencer Rattler. They're 4.5-point underdogs here in Chicago. So we could also be dealing with some positive game script if they can push the Saints into a pass-heavy environment, which Kellen Moore and company are not afraid to do with Spencer Rattler. This could be an absolute spike week for Olave. This is a play I absolutely love, and I am 100% going to ladder up to 80 and 90 yards for Olave.
Yeah, and you talk about them not being afraid to throw the ball. We make fun of the Saints offense, and you can as much as you want, but Spencer Rattler's taking care of the ball. He has just one pick on the season, so I certainly like that Chris Olave play. See, I'm going to come to you next for Jordan Whittington. You're looking at his catches, the Rams receiver. This game in London, Rams laying 3 against Jacksonville.
Yeah, we kind of figured Puka Nacua wasn't going to play this week. That was made official a couple of hours ago. And so what we're going to see is, of course, Devontae Adams get peppered, but Jordan Whittington is going to be on the field regardless, really, of the personnel groupings. We're going to see a lot of Jordan Whittington. We're going to see, of course, a lot of Devontae Adams. And then we're going to see a lot of Tutu Atwell. Now, I'm going over 3.5 receptions for Jordan Whittington. I'm taking the receptions as opposed to the yards because I think he's going to be working the short to middle of the area downfield. And I could see Tutu Atwell kind of being the guy that's going to push the defense vertically. And of course, Devontae Adams is going to work all sides of the field. But Jordan Whittington, his snap share is going to be great. I think his target share, because there's a lot of vacated targets, is going to be pretty great. And we actually have evidence of that with Jordan Whittington playing when Puka Nacua was out last season. So I think 3.5 catches, 4 catches, obviously, is very attainable. I like his yards as well. And honestly, I think he could get 5 to 6 catches in this one, but I'm certainly comfortable with him getting 4.
This is a red flag line if I've ever seen one. The odds makers want you to go and look at Jordan Whittington's career game log and see that he has only 2 games in his NFL career with more than 3 catches, and they want you to take the under on it. Sia, I completely agree with where you're coming from on the roles that these Rams receivers will have. Furthermore, I think the Rams might struggle to run the ball a little bit in this game.
Yeah.
I think the Jaguars' run defense is actually pretty good. I know Devin Lloyd's not going to play. That's one of their starting linebackers. His replacement was good last week. I think he'll be good again this week. We've seen some games as far back as, 2024, when Jordan Whittington needed to have a significant role, and those were the games where we saw him have a huge route rate and a huge target share, and this could be another one of those games. Completely on board with this one, even though the line looks very, very funny.
And the one thing I left out, thanks Dave for picking up the slack there, is it's a good matchup against the Jaguars. And if you look at Matt Stafford's yardage, he's set to throw for about 250 yards according to the projections and 22 to 23 completions. So again, I think it's high volume because of the matchup against the Jaguars.
And that yardage line is at 42 in the hook. Dave, do we agree that catches is better than the yardage line?
I think the catches is a line designed to take your money because they want you to take the under. I think the yardage line is relatively fair.
All right, and hopefully we cash Tail and Sia here. Tell me what you guys think about Trey McBride. I know this number has been run up because he continues to cash it, but it's at 63.5, and I'm still going to go over. Cardinals catching 7 against the Packers. We talk about game script. Game script bodes well. He is the number 1 wide receiver on this team. Although he's a tight end, he is their top target. He's their top weapon. He's among the league's best wide receivers in catches and targets. He's not far behind Chris Olave and JSN. He's leading the team in targets by a wide margin. He has 53. The next closest, Marvin Harrison Jr., has just 34. He's leading in yards after contact. He leads all tight ends with almost 9 targets a game. I know it's high for a tight end at 63.5, but Uncle Dave, I'm going over.
I'm worried about who his quarterback is going to be. If it's Jacoby Brissett, I am fully on board with this pick all the way, Claudia. I will take it myself. If it's Kyler Murray, man, I get the heebie-jeebies when it comes to Kyler Murray because he's been so inconsistent. And they know that we see Marvin Harrison in the concussion protocol. Not a guarantee that he's not going to play, but just for the sake of this conversation, let's assume that he's not going to play. They know we're going to gravitate toward Trey McBride and looking that over. Green Bay's defense, I know the numbers haven't been great for fantasy. They've been playing mostly well. They should be able to get some pressure. If it's Kyler Murray back there and not Jacoby Brissett, and I know this sounds crazy, but it makes me nervous to take the over on Trey McBride.
They do allow the most targets and the most catches to the tight end position. So every other tight end has had success against them. Now you pick the best tight end in all of football right now. I like the over. Proppy, tell me what you like. Over under.
It's a suffocating matchup. This Green Bay defense. Sometimes if tight ends are succeeding, it's because they're not primary options. So I do think they're going to game plan to stop Trey McBride. I think both quarterbacks offer some question marks personally. Jacoby Brissett hangs on to the football for a very long time, and that is dangerous when we're talking about a pass rush like Green Bay's. So I do worry a little bit. But that being said, Trey McBride, as you mentioned, Claudia, he operates as an elite wide receiver 1, the primary target. You can build the plane out of him, out the offense out of him. What I mean by that is you could be successful running your passing game through Trey McBride. I do anticipate an uptick in volume potentially, and I do think he is more likely than not to clear this number.
All right, I know Sia and Proppy, you both have a few more. Proppy, talk to me quickly on Jerry Jeudy.
Love Jerry Jeudy here. 35.5 receiving yards. That is way too low for a guy operating as the clear focal point of an anemic passing offense, sure. But he had 13 targets last week, and this is a fantastic matchup against the Miami Dolphins. They're the worst pass defense in the league. 31st in EPA allowed per dropback, 30th in coverage grade. David Njoku is also questionable as well, looking unlikely to suit up. And you're going to set this line at 35.5 for a guy who's likely to have 10 plus targets in a normal game script, much less a trailing one. This is an awesome spot, in my opinion, that I would take 100 out of 100 times. Live with the result here. I love this look on Jerry Jeudy.
That's confidence, and Uncle Dave just said David Njoku is officially ruled out. Sia, talk to me about Jordan Addison, this game with Minnesota catching 2 against Philly.
Yeah, I'll be really quick on this one, too. I mean, I think Quinyon Mitchell is going to play, and we're probably going to see him cover Justin Jefferson a good amount. But once you get past Quinyon Mitchell on this back end of this Philly defense, it's all systems go. It's just going to be one of those things where Jefferson's going to get his look. But Jordan Addison, of course, he was suspended on the front end. He was suspended for a quarter last time they played Cleveland. He really hasn't had his footing under him. Now you get a bye week. Now you get Jordan Addison, who's very explosive in this offense, probably against a very weak DB on the back end for the Eagles. Over 41.5 receiving yards. This has plenty of ladder opportunity as well because we know Jordan Addison can break big ones. And oh, by the way, Carson Wentz slated to get around 230 passing yards. I think quite a few of those go to Jordan Addison.
All right, Sia, I love that. I know that you have some we didn't get to, and that's why we have this block called Overtime, and that's coming up next. Proppy has a few, Dave has a few red lines you want to look at. All that and more coming up next here on The Early Edge. It's overtime here on The Early Edge, getting to the props we didn't get to already. And Proppy, Rashee Rice, making his return after his 6-game suspension for the Chiefs. They're taking on the Raiders. And you're looking at him. This line already, the books know. They're setting it at 60 in the hook.
Yeah, I'm extremely bullish on Rashee Rice here, Claudia. I think he's going to hit the ground running big time. I got this out at 56.5 to our subscribers, but I'm comfortable playing this one all the way up to 63 or 64.5. Rashee Rice is not going to be eased into this offense. This has been heavily reported heading into this matchup, and this is a great matchup for Rashee Rice. First and foremost, Patrick Mahomes has returned to the elite form that we're used to seeing from the multiple-time MVP. So he's playing great football, but now he's taking on a Raiders pass defense that plays zone defense at one of the highest rates, top 3 in the league. Rashee Rice, since he stepped foot in the NFL, has been absolutely hyper efficient, just tremendous against zone defense. You know where he's been even better is against cover 3 alignments. The Raiders play more cover 3 than any pass defense in the NFL. So this matchup is tailor-made for Rashee Rice, who leads all wide receivers in yards per route run, 3.35 since entering the NFL against cover 3 alignments. He's going to hit the ground running, and this is the matchup that I am just it's mouth-watering for Rashee Rice. Even if he doesn't play a full complement of snaps, I anticipate he's going to be out there for at least 75 to 80% of Patrick Mahomes' dropbacks. That is more than enough time to eclipse this line easily, in my opinion.
And see, when I said the books know because this line is high for a guy we haven't seen have a game yet this season. But as Proppy just beautifully laid out, we know this guy can ball.
We know this guy can ball, but this is an interesting prop game because I'm going to go with Proppy just because he's Proppy. Xavier Worthy, though, partially because of the Rashee Rice line, Xavier Worthy's line is only 42.5. I think that is a very interesting look. I think both Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy are worth ladder consideration, especially when you look at Patrick Mahomes' passing yards of around 260 yards. So I think both of them could be very successful. Worthy line seems a little low to me. And oh, by the way, I'm waiting for Michael Mayer lines. I don't know that Bowers has officially been ruled out, but when those lines come out, receptions, yards, I'd also take a look at Trey Tucker in that low 40 range. Okay, that's it for now. Thanks.
Yeah.
Can I say one other thing?
Yeah.
If we like the Rashee Rice line and we like the Xavier Worthy line, we cannot love the Travis Kelce line, which is pretty low. It's 38.5 at BetMGM. So it makes me think that that's one that we should go under on, especially since when Rice played last year, man, the target per route run rate for Travis Kelce was under 17%. That's weird, especially for him. So I think there's a real opportunity for Rice and Worthy to take a lot of work away. Out with the old, in with the new.
And Bobby, I'm going to come to you quickly, but I struggled between if I should do Patrick Mahomes over on passing yards, over on completions, because we're loving his receivers, but they're 12.5-point favorites. Are they going to have to throw the ball all that much?
They are, because they throw the ball at a higher rate than any team in the league by a significant margin. They have gone back last year. They pivoted to being a pretty hyper-conservative offense. That has changed with Mahomes returning to form. They've opened up the offense again. They're throwing the ball. Their pass rate over expected leads the NFL by a significant margin. So they are choosing to attack teams through the air, getting Rice back in the fold. Patrick Mahomes' best weapon, and in my opinion, one of the best receivers in the NFL, is only going to further bolster that.
It's so not fair. The Chiefs turn it around, and now they get a great receiver back.
It's so not fair. The Patriots fan.
Hey, man.
I'm happy.
We're back on track.
6 Super Bowl championships. You went through this already. You had your turn, Claudia.
I know. And I know why everybody hates me now as a Patriots fan. I do.
Okay,
Uncle Dave, talk to me about Nick Chubb, Houston catching 3 against
let's go from an amazing conversation that we just had about the Chiefs offense and talk about Nick Chubb and the Texans Texans' run game. It's been disastrous. In fact, Nick Chubb really has not played well all year. This is a low line, 37.5 rush yards, and I'm taking the under. I think they want you on the over because he's been over this a lot, and I've seen this number fall as far as 35.5. I'm okay with that too. 3.1 yards per carry allowed by Seattle this year. It's a shade lower, actually, if you take away garbage time. And this is 6. Seattle's allowed just 4 runs of 10-plus yards this year. I don't think we're going to see Nick Chubb get many of those. His snap rate has also dropped over the last 2 games Houston's had. We've seen Woody Marks play more. I kind of like Woody Marks' receiving yardage over, but this is the under I want to play. I also think it correlates perfectly with what I said earlier about C.J. Stroud having to throw a lot. It just makes sense that that's the game script and the way that the Texans offense is really forced to operate in this amazing game that we're going to have late Monday night on the West Coast.
All right, under there, we're going with another over, though, in Tet McMillan, 52 in the hook. Carolina laying 1.5 against the Jets. Proppy, talk to me.
Yeah, I'm going to buy the dip here on Tet McMillan. This number typically has been around 60 to 64.5. Now it's as low as 52.5, and it makes no sense to me because this is a great matchup for Tet McMillan, who is clearly operating as the number 1 option and the focal point of this Panthers offense. Yes, he does suffer because there's limited passing volume and inconsistent quarterback play, but when Bryce Young drops back, he's attempting 65% of his passes have been to his first read. That is a very high mark, and that is Tet McMillan. The offense is designed to run through him, and this is a very good matchup against a Jets pass defense that has not been good whatsoever. So Tet McMillan, we're getting a discount here. He is very good. I love this line again for him, going over 52.5 receiving yards.
All right, we're getting some discounts here in overtime. I have one more prop for you guys. Sia, I'm going to come to you and see what you think about Justin Herbert. I struggled with this one. I was trying to find a quarterback prop, and all the lines were too long. I was clearly agreeing with the market, and this line is high at 34.5 attempts for Justin Herbert against the Colts. But it just makes sense that he would cash it, right? They're home cooking. It should be a tight, back-and-forth competitive game. He has the 3rd most attempts of all quarterbacks, and he's cashed this in 3 of the last 4, averaging almost 39. He's touching almost 40 attempts a game in that stretch. The last 4 quarterbacks that the Colts have faced, every single one of them has cashed this. They're allowing 37 a game. That is the 7th most, and is one of the highest totals on the board. Tell me why this is going to hit.
You like the over? Yeah, I think the over makes sense here. I mean, we've seen the Colts on the road against very good teams push teams. So I don't think this is going to be a situation, even though I like Kamani Vidal. Let's remember, I like Kamani Vidal over 53.5 rushing yards. I'd probably play it up to 55.5. It's not like I think they're just going to run all over everybody. And Justin Herbert's really been relying on his arm. If we don't see the offensive line get a push with the run game, which they might not get a significant one play to play, I mean, it probably will be on Justin Herbert. And we know this Daniel Jones-led offense, say that a couple of times and convince yourself, is really actually pretty great, again, even on the road. So I don't mind this at all. 34.5 is not a huge number.
Probably, yeah.
I like this look quite a bit, actually. This Colts pass defense is missing numerous starters in the secondary. So while some of their season-long numbers have been good, this is a much better matchup than it looks at first glance and on paper. So I think we're going to see Herbert be hyper-efficient. This is a line I looked at personally. I think it's wise and sharp to back Herbert in this matchup.
Okay.
I feel like this number is a little too high.
It is high.
I know,
it's high.
I don't know what's going on the show, and we're sharing the space here today, Claudia. But this is 3 props that you've made that I'm just like.
Are you trying to fight me today, Uncle Dave?
Well, listen, we're having a show, and the time is winding down. So here's what I'm thinking. You've got your 3 props. I'm not really feeling any of them. What do you say?
Wow.
2 out of 3. Whoever wins 2 out of 3 wins the showdown on your props.
Or how about this? You and I are both going to this Miami-Louisville game later. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, I guess you would have to buy me the drinks after the weekend. Or you can just buy me drinks tonight and next week. How about that?
Whatever you
There
want.
could be a
That's how
scuffle at the end of this
showdowns go.
Miami-Louisville
And
game.
Proppy and Sia are going to come join, and Dave will just pick up the tab.
Okay,
How
so
about that?
the showdown is, tell me if you agree.
Okay.
2 out of 3, whoever wins 2 out of 3 on your props that I disagreed with. It was Dobbins, it was Herbert,
Yeah.
and then there was one other one I don't even remember which one it was.
I don't even. Oh,
that's
McBride. Yeah, you didn't like
Trey
McBride.
McBride.
He really
McBride
has
one
hated.
either.
And I I go to him
There
on
are
every
going
one.
to be people in the comments that are like, Claudia's going 3-0.
I'm like, Dave, what do you think? And Dave's like, I hate it. I'm like, okay, great.
I got to be honest. Listen, most of the time I agree with your props. There's no question about it. But something about the 3 that you have this week just make me go a little skittish on them.
Hey, we love it. Content for the show. It's a showdown.
We've got
baby.
a showdown.
Don't go anywhere. We have a recap of our best bets, and maybe me and Dave will fight a little more. We'll see. What a fun football Friday it was, talking Week 7 props with Sia, Dave, and Proppy. Let's take a look at the recap, our best bets of the week, starting with Proppy. He has a ton for you. Chris Olave, T-Mac, Jerry Jeudy, Rashee Rice with his big return, and we're expecting a big game from him. And then there is one under on there, Travis Etienne. And don't forget, head to SportsLine. You'll see all of these picks and more. You want to get ahead of the market moves. That is the point of SportsLine. Dave, going with C.J. Stroud over on pass attempts, Judkins over on rush yards, Saquon to have a big game, and then Nick Chubb to not have a big game.
And Quinshon Judkins, even if you see that line, 93.5, 95.5, I still like the over.
Break out that ladder out of the garage. Okay, See ya. Drake May, my guy. 2 or more attempts, passes, I should say, passing touchdowns. And then Kamani Vidal. If you don't know his name, you know it now after a big week. Jordan Whittington and Jordan Addison. And Claudia, what do you got? Everything that Dave hates. Justin Herbert over on attempts. J.K. Dobbins over on rush yards. Trey McBride over on receiving yards. I know, people. They're high numbers. And we actually had this conversation off camera during break. Justin Herbert may be yardage. So if you're watching this, you feel like 34.5 attempts is too high. Maybe look at yardage, because Proppy made a good point. Colts are banged up in the secondary. We can all agree there.
Quentin Johnson's expected back for the Chargers, too. That's somebody who can really help fuel efficiency for Justin Herbert. So I actually agree. I like the yardage over. Don't like the attempts over.
Okay. And yardage you can find anywhere from 249 in the hook up to 255. So 249.5 we will go over. Now let's talk about which props we love. We know Dave hates all of mine, but Dave, if you had to pick one that you really liked, which one would it be?
I don't remember the last time I used the words Jerry, Jeudy, and Love in the same sentence. It might be with my in-laws. My in-laws are named Jerry and Jeudy, and I love them.
Oh, okay.
But I love the over on Jerry, Jeudy. I think this line is designed for people to take the under. You do have to keep an eye on the weather in Cleveland. There could be a wind issue in the game. But short of that, I think they could have made this 43, 44.5, and I would have taken the over on it.
All right, Proppy.
First off, shout out to Jerry and Judy, Dave's in-laws.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with Sia's look on Drake May. I love the over 1.5 touchdowns. A big believer in Drake May. I think this is going to be a hyper-efficient performance from him. I think he ends up slinging the ball around the yard. I like that look quite a bit.
Sia.
I'm going to return the favor. I like PropStarz play on Chris Olave over 57.5 receiving yards.
And everybody hates me. I'm just going to say I love all of mine. Trey McBride's going to go off.
That's right. Shove it in our faces, Claudia.
I hope
That's what you do.
So bad. No, I really like the Drake May play. I think Rashee Rice, though, it's always sort of scary betting on a player we haven't seen on the field yet this season, but they are 12.5-point favorites against the Raiders. I think they really do whatever they want, and Mahomes is going to feed his guy, who I'm sure is hungry. He's had a lot of time to sit and wait and think about this game. We have 30 seconds left, but just quickly, I want to say me and Dave go into this Miami-Louisville game. This line is moving, folks, so if you like Miami, it's down to 11.5 now, Dave. But we're still going.
The unders dropped 2 points as well. Now it's under 50 points. It's 49.5.
And this is your squad. We're going to you, though, regardless.
I never bet on the Canes. I just enjoy them.
Well, I'm going to. I'm a Syracuse fan, so I don't have any heart in this game. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Don't forget to check out the Early Edge Monday through Friday. Have a great weekend. As we always like to say,
let's hit it big!